Hi, on Monday the 23rd of October, I woke up to find myself effectively totally deaf. I'd been deaf in my right ear since the age of 7, the results of one of the childhood illnesses, measles I think. Now my left ear had failed overnight. Maybe it had been some indication of a degree of hearing loss over the previous couple of weeks, but nothing to set the alarm bells ringing. So this started a rushed round of visits to the GP, audiologist, and ear, nose and throat specialist. The test confirmed a severe loss of hearing at high frequencies and almost total loss at low frequencies. This was coupled with a distortion which rendered most spoken words unintelligible, plus tinnitus and a degree of vertigo. A subsequent MRI ruled out a tumour, and a battery of blood tests shows nothing untoward. Further audio tests and a visit to a second ear, nose and throat specialist seems to have firmed up the diagnosis that a blockage of the artery feeding the cochlea had caused permanent damage to the inner ear, with a recommendation that a cochlear implant would be appropriate and necessary. With the aid of a venerable hearing aid, I have an awareness of things going on around me, and mostly together with lip reading I can understand my wife Joan. Other people are mostly unintelligible, the odd word or phrase here and there. The telephone is a no-go area. I can sometimes hear it ringing, nothing more. Social interactions, TV, radio, CDs, DVDs, conference calls, both phone and online, are difficult to impossible. From a business perspective, this creates a major problem prospecting, both from the point of view of making initial contacts, then in following up, either by phone or face-to-face. Then there is the problem of gaining and maintaining one's knowledge base through electronic media or meetings. I quickly realized how dependent on hearing such issues were. I did not take long to find out that the prospecting material and educational DVDs I used for my business did not carry closed caption tracks for the hearing impaired. So, as with CDs, have to rely on memory for content and suitability. I attended the Australian National Convention in October 2006 with some trepidation, coping with the driving and organisation, also the question over what I would personally gain from going. Joan, of course, stood to gain greatly and get a buzz from attending. In the end, it all worked out well. The atmosphere, support, good wishes, even the lady from Adelaide who insisted on giving me a reflexology treatment in the convention lobby, experienced enough in themselves to make it worth going. The convention sessions themselves were unfortunately in the main impossible to follow to any extent, also something could be gained from the slides at times. For the future, adapting to a business system that does not require phone calls for prospecting and support, maybe tapping into the hearing impaired community, could be the way to go. But it would be better if one could demonstrate a company showing real concern for the hearing impaired. I penned those words back in 2006, and much has happened since then. At the end of 2006, I was fitted with a hearing aid to exploit the little high-frequency hearing which remained to me. This did give a little improvement. Conversation with some people one-on-one was possible at close range. I discovered that the quality of speech deteriorated with distance, so it's important to keep as close to people as practical. Having demonstrated that a hearing aid was not a major improvement, the pressure was on for me to receive a cochlear implant. Not a trivial decision, as this would destroy any residual hearing I had, making me totally dependent on the implant. Not to mention also the pre-testing, operation and long rehabilitation path. However, after numerous tests, briefings, x-rays, I finally had the implant fitted in March 2007 and turned on some 3 weeks later. 3 weeks of communicating via notes and wondering how well the implant would work. Perhaps I should just gloss over the bearable post-operative pain and the incredible vertigo until things settled down. It was a relief to finally have the presage bandage moved, then the implant turned on. Even greater to find out that I could understand the audiologist and my wife straight away, although the sensation and distortion was interesting to say the least. Then followed an intensive 6-month period of adjustments, training, re-evaluation, etc. I had volunteered to be part of a research program testing a new speech processing algorithm, so I was travelling down to Brisbane almost weekly for tests and program changes. This was interesting but wearing over time. So now my hearing's mostly settled down, testing and adjustment every few months, but I feel the need for this has diminished. I'm pretty stable. So how am I faring? Well, thanks. I can hold conversations with most people one-on-one in good, that is quiet situations at reasonable distances. I found that some environments are harder, probably because of reverberation, which distort the speech I received. Following conversation between others in group situations is hard, often not possible. Noisy situations are very difficult, and I do make use of the external microphone to overcome this. So what works and what doesn't? Finding that I can follow convincing presentations most of the time, which is great. Can't follow much on the TV. The newsreader is okay to a degree, but movie, dramas, etc. are really beyond the pale. I have to rely on closed captions such as they are, which is hard when you're away from home because motels don't provide the caption service. Telephone is as possible, especially with the aid of a direct coupling to the implant, but I don't even try the mobile anymore. Overall, I've regained much of my independence, although I do rely heavily on my wife to provide translations for me in noisy places, to listen to PA announcements and that sort of thing. So there you have it. Thanks for watching and listening to me. Bye.